Hi, Ryan. Hello. How are you?
Hey, pretty good. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you being here with me, and I'm honored to be here, honestly. Thank you, Yousra.
Thank you so much, Ryan. I'm so honored myself so that you accepted the invitation to be here as my honored guest. And Ryan, you're such a humble, you're such a generous person. And I'm really happy that I got to know you through a friend of mine. And we're going to tell the story a little bit soon, how I came across the person that you are. So thank you again, Ryan, for accepting the invitation.
My pleasure. My pleasure. In Chinese, we would say 是我的荣幸. It's
Thank
my
you. My
pleasure. My
pleasure.
pleasure to be here. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you a lot. In Arabic, we say كل الشرف ليا. It's the all the pleasure is mine. كل الشرف
Ooh.
ليا. Today there
Ooh.
will be an exchange.
Aha, kurusharlia.
Cute. So, to explain a little bit the idea of the talk show, the podcast, to whoever might be watching or listening to this podcast, because it comes in two formats. The visual one, the audiovisual one, is on LinkedIn, is on YouTube and shared on LinkedIn, of course. And the second one, the audio, is on Spotify. So, in case you're watching this for the first time, this talk show is a generous and open opportunity to friends around the world. Friends can be colleagues, can be acquaintances, can be people who come across our path for a short period of time, a long period of time, regardless of the way we knew each other. So, if we're meant to be here today, there's a lesson to be learned, and I hope it will be a good one, inshallah. So, Ryan, I'll let you tell us about yourself, Ryan. Ryan, I knew you as an author, a neurolanguage coach, as a colleague. So, but I'd like to hear from you, Ryan. Who's Ryan?
Yeah, so it's been an interesting journey for sure. Um, with a path for languages and friendships, relationships, businesses, and really, like you mentioned, elevating ourselves within the human race to be a better person than we were yesterday, right?
Yes.
So yeah, yeah. For me, my language journey really started on the streets of Compton, California, um, the gang capital of the world at the time. Los Angeles, California as a whole, it has many different little pockets of neighborhoods. And one of the worst ones was Compton, California. Many people know it because of the rap music that sprung from those streets, and those are the streets I grew up on. So, me working with families and my neighbors, as an adult, I learned Spanish on the streets of Compton. There was a huge influx of Spanish speaking families from Mexico, from Guatemala, from El Salvador, uh, and they were moving in. And the English speaking community was either moving out. They were all either went to jail, got shot and killed, or the family was so afraid that they actually removed family members and took them somewhere else, far away from that gang influence. And so, learning to speak Spanish as an adult there kind of carried me into my next language after I moved to New York. So ended up moving to Brooklyn, New York. Shout out to all my Brooklyn kids there.
I,
And yeah, on the streets of Brooklyn, that's where I really learned to speak Mandarin and Cantonese. These are different Chinese languages. Yeah. Cantonese is Guangdonghua, right? And then Mandarin is 普通话.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But it was so interesting because while living in New York, you're exposed to a real hodgepodge, or what we would say a real quilt of languages, including Arabic. Sabah khir Saldiki.
I was about to ask you, do you know any words in Arabic?
Yeah, yeah. And or Turkish.
Mm.
Kish
United.
Kardashim Nessasin.
Oh, United. Yeah.
That's how I got to know your friend
Oh, yes.
Sidham.
Oh, I'll tell the story, by the way, since we're here and talking about Sinem. Thanks to our dearest friend Sinem, that I got to know you through a video she shared on her Facebook page. And I'll tell the story quickly because I wanted to talk more about not the story itself, how I came across the video, but what I learned from your videos so that I can keep now a copy of it. And I'm watching it as part of my daily affirmation, let's say. Yes. So thank you. Thank you so much. So Sina shared a video. I think it was at a conference for neurolanguage coaches, right?
Yes, yes. It was the 2025
Uh-huh.
NeuroLanguage Coaching Conference.
Great. And I noticed some of the photos of Sinem until I saw your video. I noticed someone who's really authentic and you were dressing up really in a unique way. You know, your t-shirt has the word noodles and it was amazing. And same one. Oh my goodness. And you were talking about Sinem. You were conveying your feedback to her. And that's also what I noticed about Sinem herself, because what you mentioned about her traits are really so true. She's a humble person. She has what we call an open fist, not a closed one. And she lets everything come in and out, receive in mode and give in mode. So what else? And she's fearlessly being herself. And you see, I know your video.
I agree. I so agree. And it actually inspired me to be more my authentic self. So her authenticity was contagious to me.
Yes. Yes, yes. And I've known Sinem and I had her on the previous podcast, by the way, just the previous one. Oh,
No
yes.
way.
Just the one before this one.
That's awesome.
Yes. So, hello, Sinem, if you're watching us. And we're sending so much love to you. Thank you so much for making this connection, for making it happen. So much love.
So much love to you, Sinam.
Love to see them. Thank you so much. And to you for being here. Thank you so much. So, Ryan,
Mhm.
and today I would like to know more about that person. Not necessarily in that particular moment when you conveyed the feedback to Sinem, but Ryan, over time, the version of Ryan, the previous versions, not it's not a basically not a one version, how you evolved over time and how you're going to explore your future self if ever you consider evolving more and more, of course. So you started talking about your early beginnings. You started talking about the way you learned languages.
Mhm.
I'll start with the question, and let me know what you think about this, please. What do you think of language or languages? So if we put it in a plural.
I think language really helps me connect to a higher purpose, I guess you would say. We talked a little earlier about elevating ourselves here within the human race,
Yeah.
and I find that language helps people connect in a way that in the same way on a higher level as music or art, or it like transcends just words, but it also helps people to connect their mind and their hearts together. And like I mentioned, back on the streets of Compton, California, my grandmother lived in the neighboring city, which was called Watts.
Mhm.
So Compton and Watts are really what we refer to as the ghetto, right? It is
Mhm.
really just the
Yeah.
street,
Yeah.
a place that has many socioeconomic challenges in those areas. And so, what I noticed back then was that there was a separation between uh, people of color that spoke English and also people that spoke Spanish. They really didn't understand. They spoke the same language,
Language.
English, but because one community was bilingual and trilingual, and the other community was monolingual, meaning that they only spoke one language,
English.
then it was hard for them to really
Okay.
understand where each other was coming from. And that somewhat fueled the conflict and the disagreements and the inability to problem solve in a healthy way. So when I learned Spanish, I was able to connect with members of my own community and create instant friendships just like that. And so it happened to me again once I learned Chinese.
Mhm.
I would walk into a store or walk into a business, maybe my workplace, my office where I worked, or I was able to talk to my neighbors because some of my neighbors were Chinese in New York, and I was able to talk to my neighbors and create
That
instant friendships. Yeah, a connection just within literally a few seconds. And you know that saying, it's a proverb we have in English.
yes.
People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Oh, yes. Yes, 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 yes.
And I found that to be so true when you learn just a few words, or really when you build your fluency in another person's language. Mhm.
I will share a similar experience, but this as a visitor, as a tourist. I love Egypt so much. So I've been to Egypt recently to sit for an exam, and
Mhm.
I've always wanted to visit the country. I had the chance of taking the exam in another country, but I've taken the decision so that I can go there to discover the country and let's say get the best of the two worlds. So
Yeah.
I was a tourist at that time, and uh, I mastered the dialect from what I watch in movies, from the songs, from the culture, because for us in the Arab world, in the MENA region, Egypt has been for ages, for decades, the leading country in cinema, in movie creation. It's like the Hollywood of the Arab world.
Wow. Okay.
So when I was on the plane, the first moment, so I noticed that there are people that speak the dialect. And there were Tunisians as well, because I'm from Tunis. So it's like I was practicing the dialect. So I was speaking my dialect with other people. And then once I got into the trance, and I got into the mood, getting closer and closer to the country, people started speaking. I've got to know people on the plane that were speaking the Egyptian dialect. And I had a student with me. She was hearing the whole conversation. She told me, Miss, how do you know that dialect? So I told her that's from the culture, that's from what I've watched as movies. And then I got another chance to practice this there in the country. So to facilitate, just like you said, caring about the way so that they understand the dialects, they understand the message to communicate. They welcomed me so well, and they were kind of surprised, not even surprised, but shocked. Aren't you Egyptian? So because like your dialect is so close, I told them no, I'm Tunisian from Tunis, and Yaishik. Oh, Yaishik, that's typically Tunisian. It's like may God like may you live a longer life. It's like Yaishik in Tunisian dialect.
Yeah.
Then I started receiving, unexpected gifts from people, taxi drivers refusing to get the payment. What is this?
Oh, wow.
Being so kind is like people coming to bring in gifts to the hotel reception and asking to just because they've heard that there is a Tunisian person there. For me, the experience was wow. It was amazing.
Wow. Wow.
The fact of getting, that hospitality between cultures and people and languages and the caring feeling that you talked about. So, and they started asking me, can we learn now a few words? Because it is said that your dialect is a little bit difficult. How do we say this in your dialect? And how do we say? So the exchange was really amazing until the day I was, checking out and leaving the hotel. Maybe they'll be watching this. I say hi to my friends there. I told them I hope that I was not really a burden in here because, the room service and said, no, we wish that you can never go back there to your country.
Right, right. They want you to stay.
Yes, it was amazing, amazing, amazing as an experience. And and even on the day I was going to take the exam, they were praying. Uh, well, for like in different religions,
Yeah.
Muslim, Christians there. It's like, how did you do? How was it?
I was gonna say the hospitality that you're describing here, it almost sounds like biblical, like it's something you would read about with Abraham and the strangers coming and he's
It is.
Sarah, please slaughter the youngest, fattest bull, you know?
Honestly, trust me on this. It happened and it was amazing. And had even colleagues, they came from different, just like states in the United States, they came from
Mhm.
different places just to take me to see the museums and to see the country and to explore
Wow.
culture. It was amazing. That's a recommendation to everybody considering attending a conference, maybe organizing, be here, and we're very hospitable, and we do speak, let's say, the human language. I was talking about humane and human, so we that human aspect. That's really interesting.
Mhm. I
So
agree.
yeah, thank you. Right, yeah, Ryan. Yes.
I agree. I agree. I actually had so many friends that spoke Arabic with me in Brooklyn, actually, and they would always teach me a little something. And so it got to the point in New York. I was working at this nonprofit, right? We call it a nonprofit. Outside the US, they call it an NGO,
Yo, yeah.
but within the US, we call it a nonprofit. And it got to the point where I could say good morning, hello, something nice to each
Yeah.
person. And
Yeah.
I started counting how many languages, and it was like over 50 languages because I never counted before. I just would just automatically respond to the person in their language, which if it was Vietnamese, chào buon sang, or if it was, like you mentioned, Arabic,
Aisha.
sabah khair, right?
Yeah.
If it was, Italian or Spanish, buenos dias or buongiorno,
Bonjour. Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever, Portuguese, bom dia.
Ah,
In the Philippines, they would normally say "magandang umaga," right? And that's good morning, same
yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Same thing.
And also in a Slavic-based language like Russian, dobre utro, or Czech. The Czech language is similar, dobre rano, right? So everybody kind of has their little sing-songy
Yeah.
twist to it.
Uh, I like the lyricism so much. Actually, there must be a reason for this. I don't know, but why? Because it seems to be very lyric. It's like the lyricism. For
Hmm.
us, sabah al khair. Khair is like blessings. The morning
Ooh.
of blessings. We wish you like your morning will be, and تصبح على خير is like may you wake up on those blessings.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I like that.
Oh, the
I
culture.
like that. Shukran, Habibi.
Oh, chicken as well. It's the teşekkürler in Turkish as well. A lot of things, a lot of things. So Ryan, today we're going to dive now deep into our topic. I see fluent brain in me, fluent brain.
Yes,
Um,
fluentbrain.me.
yes, 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 and fearlessly fluent. Tell us more about this, Ryan.
Awesome. Yes, this is such a beautiful collaboration and work my life's work and over 20 years of experience going into this book, fearlessly fluent fast. What happened is the way I become fluent in multiple languages really has been part of the title, and that's becoming the kid that you weren't that you once were. There are I've worked with children professionally and adults as well. I've been a teacher, translator, interpreter, language coach in some form or fashion for over 20 years. And some of the techniques that we discuss in the book and also that we use as a service to help adult native English speaking adults at fluentbrain.me is really derived from the renowned work of scientists, researchers, and professors such as Dr. John Rady. He has a beautiful work out called Spark: The Revolutionary New Science of Exercise and the Brain. Dr. Hillman, Erickson, and Kramer also produced a research project called Exercise: Effects on the Brain and Cognition. And then Dr. Chun, Lei, Ding, and Peng also talked about moving to learn. This is another beautiful research project that focused on the effects on the body and movement in vocabulary learning. This was published in the British Journal of Education and Technology. So,
Oh,
and these are just a few. These are just a few. But this peer-reviewed research really underscores my personal experience learning and becoming fluent in multiple languages. I guess in English we would call that a polyglot.
yes, I was about to say this. Now we're talking about multilingualism, but it's polyglot actually. And how important is it to you to be that fluent, Ryan?
In today's world, many people use something like Google Translate, or they will use something like maybe Apple. Apple came out with a new Translate app, for their iOS platform.
Uh,
However, what I notice is that meeting people, real human beings, we talked about the difference between humane and human, and
exactly.
meeting real human beings is really how we get things done in the real world. And of course, we can use tools like ChatGPT and Google Translate to help human beings get things done. But really, it's the meeting of the minds, I guess we would say in English, that idiom of the meeting of the minds and the meeting of the
Word.
hearts. The meeting of the hearts. That is really how business deals are done.
Yes.
Stephen Covey had a beautiful book called The Speed of Trust. That really helped me to understand how the mind and heart connect in order to do $1 million deals. And
Yeah.
he provided great examples, case studies
Can you
of
please tell us?
corporations.
Yeah, can you
So
tell us
you know
about?
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, sure. Of course. Can you please, sorry to interrupt you, but can you please tell us more about those examples from Stephen Covey? The ones
Yeah.
that yeah,
So some of the corporations that have performed acquisitions, which means, like, I'll give you an example. Some of us remember when Surrey was its own app.
Yes. Yeah.
And we downloaded Surrey from
Yeah.
the App Store. And
Mhm.
of course, Apple acquired, right? It's an acquisition. They acquired Surrey and then incorporated into their own ecosystem. Many of us remember Instagram when
Mm.
Instagram was its own app,
Separate. Yeah.
right?
From
Separate.
Meta.
And then, of course, Facebook or Meta acquired them, right? So they were acquired by a parent company now. So many of these, mergers and acquisitions, they really depend on the meeting of human beings, human minds, and human hearts, and really trying to determine the motive and thinking and intentions of the other person on the other side. And let me tell you, when you can speak the other person's language and build that trust and that fluency, not only are you able to build trust and establish a line of communication that you both are on the same page for education purposes, for business, for actually family relations. My mother-in-law does not speak English. So in order for me to communicate with my family, potrzebuję uczyć się czeski plynule. I need to be able to understand and speak this Slavic based language fluently.
Oh, you
Yeah.
took it to the different level. It's like you talked about Mandarin, you talked of, and look how amazing is this diversity. It's amazing. So did you learn the language? How was it?
Yeah. So I've been able to learn Czech. It's called in you know how in Spanish we don't call it Spanish, but we call it Espanol. A-
Yes. Uh-huh.
and in Chinese, we don't call it Chinese, but we call it 中文,
Oh, really?
right?
No Mandarin.
Aha.
Oh, oh.
Or 普通话, the common language, right?
Mm.
And in German, they don't call it German, but they call it
Dutch. No.
Deutsch,
Dutch. Dutch.
Deutsch,
Dutch.
right? Deutsch. So in Czech, they don't call it Czech, but they call it Czechina,
Oh.
which means the Czech language, right? Same thing. So I've been able to learn Czechina, and it's really been able to help me connect
With
the
your
mind and the heart with my students, with my family members,
family.
and also in business, because I live part time here in Europe, and I also live part time in the United States, where we speak multiple languages like Spanish and English
Amazing.
and Chinese. My best friend is Chinese too. So his
Amazing.
name is Alan. Hello, Alan. Hey, shout out to you, Alan, if you're listening. We call it, as a matter of fact, we don't even call each other by our names. We call each other twin. We say, hey, twin.
Amazing. You're such an amazing person. I knew it, Ryan. I just asked Sinem at that time, and she was kind enough to really contact you and get, with your consent, the contact information so that I can really not even talk to you. That's not really it's like the least that I can do, but also people need to see you. More people. There you're seen already, but more people from my region, more people from the friends that I have need to hear you speak your language, and you're fluent in it. It's the human language. I really adore being here. Thank you so much. It's like, thank you so much. You invited me to your world. It's your podcast. Oh my goodness.
Like you said, it's the human language.
It,
I feel like we are on the same energetic level. It's like an energy
it, I
that
do
we're
Tai
speaking
Chi.
also,
I
right?
do Tai Chi, and in Tai Chi, if you know Tai Chi with the energetic ball and the cleansing of energy and all that stuff. So I do understand.
Mhm.
We're in the
I
same
think in
vibration. Yeah.
I think in English they would relate to the word spirit more, like, oh, I love her spirit. Oh, I love her
Mm,
energy. But in Chinese, there's actually one
she,
word.
she,
Yeah, chi. So
she.
chi is the word for energy and the word for someone's spirit.
Yeah.
It's the same word. So for them, they see it as the same.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But regardless of this, we feel it because
Yes.
sometimes energy does not speak a language. Energy speaks vibration, speaks frequency, and I actually thank you a lot. Thanks a lot. I'll be thanking you. I'll be really very grateful to today's connection.
Mhm.
Even though I'm based here in North Africa and you're in Europe now, so you're now in Europe or in the States. So,
I'm in between both. We have offices in Southern California, and we also have offices here in Central Europe. Yeah. So right now we're sharing our daytime. So you can look outside. It's daytime for me.
yes,
It's daytime for you. Excellent lighting for
thank
everyone to see us on the podcast. Hello,
exactly.
everybody that's
Hello.
listening afterward to the
And
replay.
yeah.
But yeah, so I'm here with my family. The weather is great here in Europe
Mhm.
right now. So we are sharing our summertime and the good weather with our family that lives here in Europe right now.
Enjoy.
And when it gets too cold for the chocolate guy here,
You switch places. It's like you
then we will go to where the
oh,
warm weather is in California, right? And in the US.
it's amazing. It's amazing. As long as you're happy, as long as I can see this from, I can feel it from your energy. I can see it from your body language. I feel may you be blessed even more with your lovely family and may you have a fulfilling life. Speaking about fulfilling life, the podcast is called Ikigai, which is a term, which is a term really purely Japanese, which means life purpose.
Hmm.
We
I
might
love this concept. I love the concept of ikigai. Hmm.
Ikigai, and I believe not in one life purpose. That's why the guests, whoever is here, feels free to explore as many life purposes as we have. So, as for Ryan, if I ask you, it's not a question, maybe as a reflection. Do you consider Ryan now that you have found your life purpose? Yes or no? It doesn't have to be yes or no. Maybe it's still a quest. What do you like, Ryan, in life? What makes you happy in life?
Let's see. When you invited me on the podcast, I looked up the diagram of ikigai, and of course, I was familiar with the concept beforehand. However, the diagram is really what got me.
I,
I mean, yeah,
I took
yeah,
it
the
out of it.
visuals of the diagram.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was really awesome, and I think that it opens up a part of your energy and your alignment, right? Which is the concept of ikigai. It's to align you with your true energy, your true purpose, your true um, vibration. Yeah, and so it really, really got me thinking about this question that you just asked me, and I would say it's a mix. Yes and no. Because we're human and humane, I think that we're always growing and adding layers to our human experience. As long as we have the breath of life inside of us, I think that we're constantly elevating and engaging in Kaizen, right?
Yes.
Right? Which is this continuous incremental change of improvement. The Japanese say kaizen, and then in Chinese we would say 改善. Yeah, it's the
See?
same characters, the same
Yeah.
characters just pronounced differently.
Yeah.
And so for me, I really would say I'm coming into this period in my life where my ikigai is starting to align. And that is the mixture of what I love to do, what I'm getting paid to do, and how I like my lifestyle, which is actually part of how I describe our service. So
Yeah.
I describe, for those that are not familiar with me and who've never heard of me before this podcast, uh, I describe myself. My name is Ryan Johnson. I'm the husband, father, and founder of FluentBrain.me, where we help native English speaking adults build confident fluency in their foreign language. And that's all without hustling, reading grammar books 24/7, um, giving up your lifestyle and what you love doing, and also without stopping the things that really make you you, right? Because we're all very busy as adults, as adult professionals. So this ikigai actually aligns perfectly with how I describe myself, how I describe my service, how I describe my business. Um, I really, really am happy that you included me and honored me to be a guest here, because I would say now, the Ryan now, more than any other time in my life, I've been able to merge these different pieces of my life into my ikigai.
Thank you so much, Ryan. And I have a confession actually. I'm going to tell you something about Ikigai and how I came across it. And I went beyond the Venn diagram. So initially, I was introduced to Ikigai in a coaching program. It was part of the coaching is like to try to not visualize, but try to understand a huge concept through that Venn diagram. But later on, after research, so I've written an article, I've interviewed native Japanese teachers, I've talked to people. So, and they told me that Ikigai goes beyond that Venn diagram, that we initially tried to frame it a little bit into the lotus flower, with the profession and yeah, what you love, what you need, what you can be paid for. So it goes beyond. The Ikigai, they told me, it's that the secret that keeps you alive, that can make you wake up in the morning full of motivation to lead the day. And it can simply be just sitting near the beach and sipping your coffee or tea and seeing your children play next to you, having your wife next to you. That keeps people alive longer than others. Because Ikigai was it's even a book, the novel that has been published. Um, Over, I think, 100 people that were interviewed about the secret of longevity in a village, Ikunawa in Japan. So I wanted to know why people live longer than others. And most of them, they said that they were leading life with purpose. So everyone has an ikigai. Sometimes it can be, for me, it's the podcast. This podcast itself is an ikigai. It's like I'm doing it because I love it. I'm not being paid for it, but I'm doing it because some people sometimes they connect through my podcast. It helps other people know each other. It helps other people learn from other people's stories. And I'm getting better and better in this. It has improved since the first episode, and I'm considering the next season, upcoming September, to take it to the studio. But yeah, yes. But how can I host my friend foreigners from abroad? So still Zoom is something that I will be needing, except if maybe I'll be meeting friends in conferences, for instance, and record on the spot. So I'd like to make this experience much more it's authentic, but much more in person. I would like, for instance, maybe to visit the country of the speakers or vice versa. So I will see how things will evolve. But this podcast, I see it as the ikigai, as you mentioned. It's a life purpose. It's going to be there. Whoever has a story to tell, whoever needs to speak about oneself. I had friends speaking about their book launch. I have a friend, she's a single mom. She was speaking about her true self and how she went through that, that journey of getting back on track. So it's part of advocacy, sharing, collaboration, an open space, and who knows how, what can happen afterwards. And
I
this
love that. It seems like to me, on the outside looking in, it seems like that this podcast is helping you to hone and refine your ikigai. It's like helping you to like concentrate it into like a focused beam.
to see my
Yeah.
friends, make new friends. Actually, I made new friends through this podcast because sometimes they can't visit the country, other times I can't always travel. So it's good to stay connected. It all started in COVID. So we started talking to each other, it was purely remote. And then I kept it as a tradition. It's there. It's going to be there like forever. And
I
it's a
think
bit
so.
like,
I
yeah.
think so. I think so. The wonders of the internet have actually really made the world a lot smaller after, especially during and after COVID.
I'm going to ask you a question, Ryan. It's another reflection, Ryan. It's not a question. And this is, I hope it's not straightforward, but Ryan, the way you spoke to Sina, um, how can I would like to ask the question, and I'm trying to collect all the ideas that I have in mind. Um, how useful do you think how useful do you think it is to tell people how good they are, how wonderful they are?
You know, we are exposed to so many different types of information all day long. The internet can be a double-edged sword for many of us. It can bring good things into our life, like connection, business, education, but it can also bring a lot of bad things into our life, like negative comments, criticism, and it can be like little jabs from a sword. You know what I mean? So we can also receive bad news over the internet. And then there are other things, perils of social media when we think that everybody's living it up except us. It's like what they call FOMO, right? Fear of missing out.
Yeah.
And when the other person's life is just as same level as ours, you know?
As amazing, yeah, always traveling and always partying, always. Sometimes it's not real life. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, exactly. So I think that the feedback I was able to give Sinem during our neuro language conference, I feel that I was just a mirror to hold up in front of her. I felt like the energy that she was putting out, I really, I didn't, I wasn't sure if she was able to see that reflection for what it really was. When I looked in her eyes and I could see the energy around her, I wasn't sure if she could actually see how bright she was illuminating the room.
Mm. Yeah.
I could feel it
Yeah.
from her.
Yeah.
But then after she got off the stage, I couldn't feel it anymore from her. And I wanted to reflect that brilliance that so that she could see it. You know, it's kind of like the allegory of the black swan,
Ye-
right? Or what we would call in English the ugly duckling,
Yeah.
because the baby duck actually wasn't a duck; it was a swan, and it was beautiful. And I read this story to my younger students, and I feel like that type of fairy tale or allegory, what we call it in English, I feel like that story is what represents my interaction with Sinem. I feel like when because she asked me to repeat it.
Yeah.
The first version was much better. By the way, what you saw was a reproduction of a conversation that Sinem and I had privately. It
Mm.
was just me and her. And
Yeah.
she says, Ryan, this was so interesting what you just said. I want to keep this for later. Do you think you can repeat it? So the first version was much better than what I had to reproduce on camera, and so I apologize for. I actually feel bad about that second version of it.
No, the version that I have is amazing. I told you. So because of this version, now we're talking together. It's amazing. It's amazing. And allow me, please, to tell you a few things about Ryan. So Ryan, I see you as illuminating, as you said. I see you as a generous person. I see you as someone who has an open mind, open fist, open heart, and this makes you very unique. And we are lucky as your colleagues, your family is lucky to have you, your wife, sisters, if you have any daughters.
I, I do, I do. I have two sisters.
They're so lucky to have you. Your energy is contagious. And
Yours too. Yours too.
oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And Ryan, with this energy, with this potential, with this vibration, uh, linked to coaching, how is it? Tell us more about it.
Yes. So a part of coaching actually is reflecting like a mirror
Exactly.
for the coachee or the learner to be able to not just see themselves in from a different angle. Actually, for animals, did you notice for animals that are sentient? What we say, right, in English, this word is very rich and kind of
Yeah.
flavorful. Sentience. So animals that are sentient, that means that they can recognize themselves. When they look in a mirror, they know that's
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
That's not another animal, but this is me. Not all animals are sentient, but some are. Dolphins, ravens, some monkeys
Oh,
or
really?
apes.
Cats, are they?
Elephants.
Oh, mhm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
some animals in the animal kingdom can realize, hey, this is what I look like. And
Mhm.
so many times the way you will know that they recognize themselves is they will start to look at themselves from a different angle that they normally cannot see. So they will turn around, they will look at their booty, they will open their mouth and say, "Hey, look, I can finally see what's inside my mouth," because your eyes can't see in your mouth, right?
Yeah.
They will look at their ears, at their hair. They will start to examine themselves from a different perspective. And excuse me,
That's it.
energy, thank you. Energetically, as a coach, part of our job is to hold that mirror up so that our coachee, our learner, can now see themselves from a different perspective and have a moment of metacognition, right? Where their brain can analyze their own situation and also come up with solutions.
Exactly.
I feel like this energy that we're talking about right now can be used in such a way that it can produce good results in coaching. So that's the way that I use it. I also use it in order to help within coaching, in order to help people. I guess you could say elevate because they're able to hear a different message from the coach that they may not necessarily hear through social media
Mhm.
or from their instructor if they attended university or they're in school. They may not hear that message from their family member or from their partner. They may not hear the message that they're hearing from a coach, even from their boss or their manager at work. And so I think the value in sharing this kind of energy that we're talking about now, of Kaizen and of ikigai, really, I think not just elevates them in their career, but it is able to elevate them as a human being, so that they can pass those tools, those skills, those frequencies, I guess you could say, those frequencies onto the next person, right? Because it's contagious. Like we said, the energy is contagious. They can now pass that or pay it forward, I guess we can say. Pay it forward.
Thank you. Thank you a lot for sharing. And I can feel your energy while talking about this and while sharing it generously. Now, Ryan, what do you think is the value of coaching for students learning English, whether as a first language, as a foreign language? So, learning English in general, what's the value of coaching nowadays, as compared to teaching?
Hmm. One of the values is the relationship between a teacher and a student is very top heavy. What that means is that it's a top-down approach. It means that all the responsibility is on this teacher to now infuse or to transmit that wisdom and knowledge into the student, and the student has very little responsibility to now take that on. The ownership between in that relationship isn't necessarily, it can be there, it can be, but it's not necessarily a part of the structure of a student teacher relationship. Whereas ownership, accountability, all of that is included within coaching. Whereas the coach and the coachee are more on the same level, right? They share the responsibility of the experience, transmitting or transferring. It's more of a transfer of wisdom, knowledge, reflection, and improvement between a coach and a coachee. And the coach is simply facilitating that process. and the coachee is accountable and taking ownership of the process on their own,
Yeah.
which leads to much better results.
Yeah, I can fully relate to this because once I was going through the ICF coaching myself and the training, so my vision to coaching according to, because every school of coaching refers back to a certain standard. So as for ICF, for instance, we see coaching as a partnership, a co-creative space of the the coach and they call them clients. So the appellation of a coachee changed over time. So now it they prefer to be called clients from the organization, and the less of transfer. Look at the beam of light there. It's amazing. You should just
I just noticed that.
biblical aspect of this podcast today. Getting even more and more biblical towards the end.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. That is really is awesome. In
Yes.
Czech, we would say, "Došikovné." It's awesome.
Hallelujah. Oh my goodness. So that's it. Coaching is like a kind of a partnership. And by the way, the coach for ICF does not take any credit for of the results. It's like the full responsibility of the person who's being coached because it's someone's life. Part
Mhm.
of the agreement is that everyone is responsible. So we're there, we facilitate the journey, and but the results they're fully related to the person who's being coached.
Mhm.
And as for the results, what else? As for the process, it's an amazing journey.
Yeah,
Uh,
they did the work, so they deserve the credit, right?
exactly, exactly. So basically, that's a magic world. So look at the magic there. Get some light, please.
That's awesome.
If
I
we've
love
planned
it.
this, if we've planned this, it's not staged, guys. If you're watching this, it's really improvised.
Totally not planned. Totally not
No,
planned at all.
it's not. Ryan, how amazing is this? And how fluent are we today, energetically speaking? So, so one more idea I would like to explore with you, Ryan,
Sure.
is the idea of transitioning from being a teacher to an entrepreneur. How was it? What's the importance of this for you? Can you tell us more about this, please?
Yes, it sure has been a journey. Let me tell you. You know, as a teacher, your responsibilities are varied for sure. However, when you transition over to an entrepreneur and taking on that entrepreneurship, it's a new hat that you have to wear. And let me tell you, within that hat, there are smaller little hats that you wear,
Yeah.
because as a teacher, your focus really is kind of laser focused on the students.
Mm.
As an entrepreneur, you have to switch hats so many times, from coach to marketing agency, over to tax advisor, over to bookkeeper and accountant,
Yeah.
over to back over to the students and provide instruction and plan all of the lessons, and then switch your hat back over to, okay, let's see, is there free space on my calendar, and do I have enough time for holiday and vacation,
Until that. Yeah, 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 yeah.
and so on and so on and
Um,
so on. And that's besides planning all of the speaking assignments and neurolanguage conferences and some of the other ICF meetings that you
Yeah,
have,
yeah.
right? So it is so varied, and you switch hats so many times as an entrepreneur. You really do have to take some woosah moments, right? In English, we would call it woosah. That means moments of to just breathe and relax and
Now,
stay calm and kind of center your energy so that you don't go too far to the left or too far to the right. And that type of centering and stability really transfers over to the results that you're getting out of your students. Not students, out of your clients.
yeah,
I still have to remember with my speech there.
it's fine.
So aligning that energy and centering that focus really does produce tangible results in your clients that they can see, feel, and see in their own lives. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
Mhm.
And your journey of being an entrepreneur, actually, I tried a little bit, part of it, when I was considering a career shift during COVID. So that's
Yes.
when I started podcasting, because podcasting was part of promoting my courses and my lessons at that time. And it was partially that, yes. And what else? So I tried myself wearing those different hats. So I was preparing the course and then, how can I promote this? So I should really maybe prepare videos. So I was creating videos, doing the voiceover. No, no, no. For more visibility, I should really be recording in person the video. So I started going live. I started recording the videos. So different hats. Trying. No, this works. This doesn't work. This is one is better. Oh, all of them. Let's put all of them together. And then no, it's too much. When shall I get my time off? Let's say for a walk. So it's really difficult, but kudos, bravo for what you've done, for making it here, checking your website and seeing all the work and seeing your book. Um, Everything that you've been doing, Ryan, is an inspiration to everyone who wants to take his life to a different level. And it's amazing. And the community of coaches is worldwide, as you said. And we have the same mindset. It's all about having that mindset. Exactly. When we see each other, we recognize each other. um, it's like contagious. It's wonderful. Sometimes people they don't understand why we are like that. It's like sometimes they see it oversharing our true self, but this is it. This is how we are.
Yeah.
This is how we
Yeah,
think.
yeah. As a matter of fact, I got a comment that just really resonates with what you just said. Yousra, his name is Jacob or
Yes.
Yakub,
Oh,
in his, yeah, in his language, but I call him Jake or Jacob.
yeah. Yeah.
And so Jacob made a comment. He was a client of mine and he made loads of improvements that really elevated his career. And so, and also his other relationships that connected in his life, both personally and professionally. And so he made a comment after seeing me and one of my videos on LinkedIn. He says, "Wow, Ryan, it looks like you are really doing what you love. Not just You're not just teaching language anymore. You're actually living your
Living.
dream."
Exactly.
And I totally didn't expect to hear that from him. And I think it's in one of the comment. I think it's in one of the comment sections on one of the videos I posted. And I had to really take a moment of self-reflection. And I was like, wow, it made me stop and slow down and realize, wow, I really am living my ikigai. I really am living my dream, you
Yeah.
know? It really is starting to come together and align so well. Um, I know one of my dreams personally was to be a translator in mainland China. And I said, if this tall chocolate guy from Compton, California, off the gang-filled streets, you know, could actually be in mainland China and be a translator, that would be a dream for me. For me, that was a dream that was like so far fetched. that it would maybe never happen. And so when it finally happened, and I found myself standing on the streets of China with a job as an interpreter, and I'm actually working in my profession, I almost had to pinch myself.
Yeah,
I
so
said, 我站在这里，成为一个中文翻译员，
translation, please.
怪不得, like I couldn't believe it. 了不起了. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, hey, I'm standing here on the streets of mainland China and I'm actually a translator professionally. I couldn't believe it. So that was one of my dreams. And this is an evolution, an elevation of that dream, another form of it through this concept of ikigai. And that's actually helping others, other native English speakers, achieve their dream of speaking fluently and building confidence, confident fluency in their language. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing, Ryan. And going back to the metaphor of the mirror, I'm going to
Mhm.
use it now after you
Mm.
consent, of course. And
I consent. I consent, please.
thank you. Imagine now, Ryan, you're looking at your younger self in the mirror.
Mhm.
So I'll let you reflect on this, take a walk through in your mind to the youngest self, maybe the version of your young self you would like to look
Wow.
at any particular time, be it
Wow.
once you were a
Wow.
child,
Hmm.
teenager,
Hmm.
adult life, any younger self you would like to address a message to today. Looking at yourself at the mirror now, you see that self dressed up the way you used to dress, having that energy you used to have. You look in the eye into that young self, and in one or two sentences, if you would like to tell something to that younger Ryan, what can you say?
Wow. Wow. Um, you know, it to put it concisely, and I actually remember what you are describing. I remember my younger self. I can remember it was the summer of 2009. I remember like it was yesterday. And um, if I had to summarize it in just a few words, I would take a page out of the marketing tactic of Nike. Just do it. 就要做，做到了. You know, I would just say, do it. And in Spanish, we would say, sí se puede. Sí se puede, hombre.
Just
Sí se
like take
puede.
the opportunity. Yes.
You know, like to seize that opportunity. Um, there's an idiom in English that we borrow from
Carpe,
Chinese,
carpe diem.
and that is strike while the iron is hot.
Oh, yeah. Yes, yes.
趁热打铁,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And we actually borrow so many idioms in English from Chinese that English is such a new language. I would call it the new kid on the block.
Yeah.
It's such a new language compared to Arabic, to Turkish, to a Russian or German. It is
Mandarin.
such a new language compared to any of the Asian languages like Chinese, Japanese, Korean. Uh, it's such a new language that it borrows from Arabic, from Hebrew. All of the numbers on our watch,
There.
all of the numbers on our calculator are not English, they're Arabic.
Arabic. And I'll tell you something else. You know, cipher, it's a صفر in Arabic. Cipher, a,
Yeah.
a صفر. Algebra, الجبر, علم الجبر.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Camera, camera, القمرة من القمر. the moon.
No way.
Yeah,
That
القمر.
is so cool. I love it. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that.
There is a documentary actually well known. It's called 1001 Inventions. It was funded and produced by the British, I think the British Ministry. And it says, talks about all the inventions there were at a particular time by Muslims and Arabs. Part of this, they're talking about al-Qumra, al-Camera, and a lot of other things like al-Ilm al-Jabr, al-Jibra, a lot of things. It's amazing. I told you today it's biblical. Told you, told you, told you.
You know,
I
I'm just thinking about it, and that is so awesome and so unique. You know, I'm even thinking about the name California.
know.
Did you know that the name California, the Spanish borrow
Oh,
this the because you know this
yeah, yeah.
Spanish settled it, right?
That,
Actually it
settlers.
was from part of Mexico,
Yeah.
but because the name is Spanish, but the Spanish actually borrowed that name
Which
from
means,
Arabic.
which means.
California, it means the land of Queen Khalifa.
Wow.
Yes, yes. This mythical, beautiful, dark-skinned woman. They thought California was so beautiful. This place of beauty must belong to this mythical queen.
I learned a lot today. I learned a lot.
Yeah. So the Moors of North Africa, of your hometown, of your birthplace,
Yeah.
actually the name California comes from the myth of the Moorish people.
Yeah, yes, yes. And Carthage, so a lot of things. I'm someone who's fond of history because I can find in history, the story of people. The story sometimes being told the way it wanted to be told because I see his story. I've been talking about her story, their
Yeah,
story, a lot of
yeah,
stories.
yeah.
Because who writes story after all? Sometimes it's the person who stays alive, the victor.
Hmm.
Other
Hmm.
times it's like it's
Hmm.
been like storytelling. It's been told and perpetuated and transferred from one generation to the other.
Yeah.
I'm fond of even here in my culture. So I take the proverb and try to understand what's the cultural background behind this. There's a proverb. It's called in Tunis, for instance. It's known that a lot of Tunisians they like foreigners so much. And we used to have a lot of gates in Tunis. It's like a neighborhood, and they put a gate for each neighborhood.
Yes.
Was one of them is called Bib Mnara. And whoever lights up and is kind to a foreigner is told this proverb. كيف قنديل باب منارة تضوي على البراني. It's like قنديل باب منارة is like a candle, a lamp.
Okay, a lamp.
Instead of putting it inside the gate, they put it outside for the pedestrians, for people who walking outside, so that when they'll be walking down the street, it's clear for them. So this is the
Hmm.
Minara in Tunis. So now
That
they
that kind of connects to that hospitality that we talked about, that biblical hospitality,
exactly,
right?
exactly.
And that word hospitable or hospitality. Do you know what it means?
No, 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 no. Maybe I know, maybe I
It,
don't. Yeah.
it's actually encoded in this spirit of what you just described. It's the love of strangers.
Yeah. And that's why Tunis, it's the earth of many cultures. It has
Mhm.
hosted, that's why we speak many languages.
Yeah.
Rarely can you find a Tunisian speaking at least three languages, at least.
Wow.
Polyglot by nature.
Wow.
And we had a lot of settlers. And actually, myself included, our origins are mixed. So we belong to the world, and that what makes us unique. And Ryan,
I
thank you.
love that. I love that.
Before we go, Ryan, I'd like
Yes.
you to go with me on a spaceship,
Okay.
if you want, of course. After
Okay.
sound. Ready? Fasten your seatbelt. Ready?
Okay. Okay. I'm fastened in. I'm ready.
Ready.
Warp speed, Captain.
So you're the captain. You're the captain. You're going to. Mm, how do you imagine the future of our profession in 5 or 10 years from now? With all the bursting of coaching and the variety, and how do you see it evolving?
Part of what I see 5 or 10 years from now is this beautiful skill that you have mastered, Yousra. Uh, you were able to help me reflect on my younger self. And that's something that was, I would even call it like a bit transformational just now, because I had to think about Ryan in 2009, the summer of 2009. I was pushing a garbage can. I was working, I was actually volunteering. I was a volunteer in Long Beach, California, and I was pushing a huge container of garbage. And as I pushed it past this Japanese convention at the convention center, I looked up. By the way, before that, somebody had recently told me that I could never
Achieve.
uh, achieve my dream.
Mm.
They said, hey, this other person, they actually gave an example. It was a friend of mine. They said, Jonathan, yeah, Jonathan can do it, but you, no, don't even try. Why are you even trying to do that, Ryan? No, it's better for you to just focus on something basic.
Mm.
And
Oh,
this was a person that was older than me, who was in a position of authority. They told me this. And so that was playing, that negativity, that negative energy, it was kind of playing in the back of my head on rewind. It was on the rewind button, right? So it was kind of playing in the back of my head. But I was really trying to push it back and push it down. Let me tell you, I was pushing that container of garbage past the Japanese convention, talking about ikigai and kaizen, right?
yeah.
And on stage was an English speaking person that was having to have his speech translated to the group of thousands of Japanese delegates. And as I'm pushing the garbage, I actually stopped. It stopped me in my tracks when I saw who the translator was. The translator was a young Caucasian man. He was younger than me, and he was translating into this beautiful Japanese language what the speaker was saying. And I thought, I saw myself inside that young man who was younger than me. I said, wait a minute, if he's younger than me and doesn't have as much experience that I have, I'm pushing the garbage here, questioning myself, doubting myself. Your reflection that you just performed with me, Yousra, actually helped me reflect on my younger version of myself. I think that capturing those types of moments, what I would say to my younger self back in 2009, 15 years ago, what would I say to myself? Those kinds of moments, I think, are the true essence of coaching. Those transformative moments are really what will help me to leave our coaching session in an elevated state than when I came in to meet you, you know? I think that is the future. Creating those kinds of transformational experiences are the future of coaching.
thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing, first of all, your younger self version with us. Thank you for sharing the authentic self. Thank you for sharing your true self. If I ask you one more question, Ryan, if there is something you learned today new about Ryan, what would it be?
If it was one more time, please, I want to make sure I understand it
If
perfectly.
there is something new, if there is something new you learned about yourself today, what can it be?
Something new that I've learned about myself today is I want to touch back on that little transformation is that never to doubt my ability to elevate, never to doubt for even a moment what I can accomplish. If you can think it, you can
Make,
grab it.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. Such a great pleasure. I hope this won't be the last time we talk, and I hope this will be the beginning of a friendship. I'm an open book, and I'm here if I can help with any possible way at the human level, at the professional level. And I'm so happy and honored that a simple message to a colleague made it that we talked together. And I'm grateful for your humility. You're down to earth. You accepted the invitation without knowing me so well. Just by testing the energy, by talking to each other, you said yes. You're someone who's really unique, and I'm honored, really. Um, I send you a lot of love, respect, gratitude for today's podcast, and I will let you convey any message you would like to before we end up today's episode.
Sure, sure. I would like to say, as soon as I heard your voice, I was hooked. And really, that's why I said yes. It's because it was you,
Thank you.
Yousra, right? And like that's your is your name
Yeah.
is
And thank you for
you
pronouncing
know,
well in Arabic.
it was because it was Yousra. That's why I agreed. Your you have so many, and I said this before we started the program, but I'll say it again so that everyone can hear. You have so many acronyms connected to your name, and so much experience, so many awards, so many certificates and levels of achievement in so many different aspects of your life, not just personally, but also professionally. And it can be intimidating, it can be very intimidating. But honestly, it was your humility and it was your openness to accept and to invite a person that looks very on the outside looks very different from you, uh, but on the inside speaks your same
Think that-
speaks your same human language. Energetically we speak the exact same language, and I think we resonated with each other right away because of that, and because we share the same love for people and for
Exactly.
improvement and for ikigai, right, and for Kaizen,
Yeah.
making improving your life by 1%, just 1%
Yeah,
each
it
day
doesn't
or
matter.
each year or each month.
Yeah, yeah. One step at a time. It doesn't matter. It's my motto actually. If you want to be better, just be better than yourself, better than yesterday. I avoid comparing myself to others. So that's a rule of thumb. And I want really to share what I have with everybody, but also at the same time, it's like happiness never gets, I don't want to translate this, but it's exponential. It's whenever you share it, you can get more and you can better. And with the illumination that we have today, with your background, getting more sunlight. It has been a great pleasure. And thank you for on your Sunday, on your weekend. You're talking to me, devoting time. I hope the episode was not too long for you.
No, no, it wasn't. It wasn't. I think we're on the same page,
Yeah.
and we have the same goal
Yeah.
in achieving what we're sharing here on the podcast. So it wasn't too long for me. I hope it's not too long for
No.
our listeners listening to the replay here, but it wasn't too long for me at all.
I'm sure they will enjoy it as much as I did. And welcome to the Ikigai family, Ryan.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Shuk
Shukran.
shukran.
Thank you a lot.
Share, share.
So to everybody who's watching,
Gracias, muchas gracias.
thank you. Ryan and I were saying to you, thank you so much for tuning in to watch this part of the episode. And we thank you so much. Ryan, would you like to say something before we wrap up? We go?
Thank you for letting me be here, and I hope everyone enjoyed this episode of Ikigai and Kaizen podcast. Um, Please feel free to reach out to Yousra or to myself. Where can they reach you, Yousra?
So I have my website, so I'll be mentioning all the details related to you as my guest, and also my website and email. And you have your website as well and your email if you allow me to share them, so that they can really get in touch with this energy that I had the privilege of talking to.
Awesome, awesome. We have a YouTube channel, we have an
Yes.
Instagram, we have LinkedIn, and we also have our website, fluentbrain.me. You can also pick up the copy of the book that
Oh,
we have out.
of
Yeah.
course, of course.
Fluently, fearlessly fluent fast.
Fearlessly fluent. Yes.
Yes.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. And to everybody who's watching us, thank you so much and goodbye.
Bye bye. Naslarano.
Masalema. Bye bye.
下一次见。
Ciao, ciao.